everybody. Welcome to Rachel's Reviews. We are really happy today to be here to be talking about the Walt Disney Corporation and their films from 2016. We're ranking them, and we have done already 2019, 2018, 2017. Now we're doing 2016, and it was a different time. Back when movies got released in theaters.
Back when we could go to the theater. Yeah.
Yes. And so, Stanford, thank you so much for coming and doing this.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I think this was the hardest one yet.
Oh, absolutely. This was very hard. What a good year the Walt Disney Studios had in 2016. Overall, really impressive year. Yeah, I'm with you. It made it really hard to because as we'll get into, there's a lot of variables and a lot of things, particularly when there's just so many good movies.
Yeah, it was very, very difficult. I went back and forth on all of them. We decided in creating our list, we ended up with 15 films in the list. They did produce and distribute the Light Between Oceans movie, but it's such a depressing movie, and I just didn't feel like I could ask Stanford to watch that one. And it was just distributed. I mean, it's a pretty decent movie, but it's very sad. So.
Yeah, and
2020.
One of these times, I know, right? Just not necessarily what we need in 2020. And I probably one of these times will just need to watch it because it sounds like it's an excellent film. I just, and I never saw it. I never saw it.
Yeah,
that was one of those that for me kind of slipped through the cracks. I don't know how much of a wide distribution it had or how long it was in theaters.
Yeah, I'd probably put it. If I was ranking it, I'd probably put it just underneath The Finest Hours.
Okay.
You'll see where I have that, but it's a kind of a mystery, but also tragedy, and it's very well acted, and they have very good chemistry because they were a couple at the time.
That's right. Yeah.
Michael Fassbender.
And Michael Fassbender, yeah. Okay.
But I don't know. It is very, very depressing movie about a woman who loses her baby and kind of what happens. And so we didn't include that, but we have 15 other films that we are ranking. This includes Walt Disney Animation Studios, includes Pixar, Marvel, Walt Disney Live Action. It has Disney Channel original movies, Lucasfilm, and we also included a film from India that Disney distributed, which I had never heard of, which was kind of fun to look at.
That was fun because same thing. I hadn't heard of it either. That was really fun.
Yeah, it's called DANGAL. And so we included that. So we have 15 movies, and I still a little back and forth because it's really hard when you do a ranking because I like things for different reasons, and so which reason wins out the day is tough. So, or I dislike things for different reasons depending on. So what do you have at number 15?
Well, this one was not a difficult decision for me because I automatically just put it at the bottom. It's Alice Through the Looking Glass, a sequel to the Alice in Wonderland live action reimagining that was directed by Tim Burton. This one was directed by James Bobbin, or I'm not sure the proper way to say his name. Although I believe that Tim Burton still was an executive producer on it, and it followed kind of his same visual aesthetic, but really for me it was just, I like to call it computer throw up. I mean, it was just so much CGI, and the story was horrible, and Johnny Depp was horrible. I mean, everything about it. For me, it was just pure torture.
Well, I also have it at number 15, so we are in agreement there.
Yeah.
It is just, not only is it a form of torture, as you say. It's just stupid. It is stupid
good
movie.
point. It's just a really stupid movie.
There's nonsense that's part of Alice in Wonderland, and I appreciate that and love that. But it's not stupid. Here, you're supposed to care and be invested in the fact that why the Red Queen's head is so big is because they had an argument over tarts. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, they couldn't come up with anything better than that. And you're supposed to be all invested in, what's gonna happen, and then there's like really weird things like the ants farm and then the vegetable people, and it's not weird in the sense of, oh, look how eccentric, look how charming, look how, it's just in like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, why are there vegetable people? I don't know. What's happening? I think the Sacha Baron Cohen is probably the best part of the movie.
That's kind of
fun.
Yeah, he's kind of fun.
Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter is the worst in this. He's awful.
Oh,
he expects Alice to go and risk everything, everybody's happiness, everybody's salvation, everything, to go on this quest for him, which I didn't even feel like they were that close at the end of the original film. Yeah. She leaves, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's
really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. I saw it once in the theater, and again, it's one of those. I was just squirming in my seat. I just couldn't. I couldn't wait for it to end, and hopefully I never have to sit through it again.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the costumes are cool. It has some nice visual effects, but it's just terrible. So,
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I was just glad it didn't make money.
Yeah, me too. I mean, because they would have continued down this path on with this series. What it did surprise me that the Tim Burton one did as well as it did. I mean, I think it was $1 billion movie worldwide. And while I didn't hate that Tim Burton one, I just sure didn't love it, and I was so surprised that it did so well. But this one, just, terrible film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
What did you think of the Tim Burton one? Just before we move
the Tim Burton one, I also don't like. It's more of like a slog rather than being stupid. Yeah, but they have too much of the Red Queen. She's very annoying in it. I don't like what's his name from Back to the Future? Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover was really skeevy and weird in it, and it was just so boring. They made it really boring and just so unappealing and gross. Mm-hmm. It wasn't fantastical. It wasn't fun at all. It was just like unpleasant and gray and really, I don't even think the color palette is nice.
That was, again, just kind of talking about, as I call it, the computer throw up, just the way that the CGI was done. Mm-hmm. It wasn't pleasing. It just really, it's almost like my brain couldn't take it, mm-hmm. And then therefore I just, I didn't.
Yeah. It's bad. It's really, really bad. All right. So what do you have next in your ranking?
So I'm actually going to give you the two that I've got. Mm-hmm. 13 and 14 are the two Disney Channel original movies, or the DCOMs, that we watched. At 14, I had Adventures in Babysitting, and then 13, I had The Swap.
So I have the same, except for I have them swapped.
Okay.
So I try to be a little bit of a defender for these DCOMs because I think people are sometimes too tough on them. They're they have a small budget. They're made for teens, and they're harmless most of the time. I do much prefer the ones with music and choreography, mm-hmm. and that to me makes them way better. But I'm a sucker for a musical.
Yeah.
So it's too bad because The Swap I love body swap movies. And so I was actually kind of hopeful
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
And it was disappointing because I thought that they were both very unlikable. And I know that teens can be very unlikable, but it's just like I really don't like either of these twerps. They're really annoying.
Yeah.
So that's why it was lower to me.
Okay. Yeah. I had a similar, I agree with you on the swap because I thought both of the teams were really unlikable too. And clearly, both of the teens are going through some hard things. I mean, they're grieving, really, grieving a death and a loss of a relationship, and kind of coming to grips with that. And so I appreciate that they were trying. I thought it was an interesting way to try to present some hard things. And I also know I am not the target audience. So that's, and I agree with you. I don't wish to be overly harsh on these films, even though I didn't enjoy them. I'm not who they're made for. However, I also had problems with the script with the SWAT because I thought they were like doing too much almost. There was just like too much going on, and I know that I did kind of like how cell phones play a very important role, in this film, and I did like how they were doing some of that on-screen stuff with the phones. I thought that narratively, I thought it worked, but whew, it was rough.
Yeah, especially the female character and her friends were just so they were really awful, and I didn't care about them. And I thought they could have done more in sort of thinking about gender, and you have a boy in a young woman's body, and you have a girl in a young man's body. They could have done more with that. I mean, it's kind of just stuck to boys smell and girls don't smell. I mean, that's was kind of
that's just kind of where they where they were going with it, and so nothing really interesting. And again, I thought the only thing that was really kind of nice for me, and it was just that they were trying to present some hard realities of life, and I thought they were attempting to do it in an interesting way, but it sure didn't work for me.
So instead of watching Swap, watch another movie from 2016.
I was gonna say,
and watch Your Name.
Your Name. Well, and I mean, Rachel, I kept thinking about that because Your Name does this. I mean, it's a bit different, in the storyline, but it does it effectively, like incredibly effectively.
Yeah, and it really explores gender, and then it goes to deeper places, and has the beautiful music and animation, obviously.
Yeah.
But the characters are so likable. Mitsuha and Taki, you just love them. At least I do.
Yeah,
and you're
great.
rooting for them.
You're rooting for them. Where these, I never was really rooting for them. I mean, of course, I didn't want them to fail or get stuck forever. They're in this swap situation, but it's just like, please learn your lessons and let's get this on.
Yeah. So in Ventures in Babysitting, I do really like both of these leads. Sophia Carson, I think she could be a big star. I think she's very charismatic.
Yeah.
And beautiful, and I just enjoy her. I like her in the Descendants movies. I think she's fun in those. And I think Sabrina Carpenter is also very likable, and she was on Girl Meets World, which was such a good show. And I thought that elevated it to me, and it was harmless. I thought, the hijinks going around town, and I think I would have enjoyed it. I think as a young child, I would have liked it. I've never seen the original.
Yeah, so. And the original, which, if I'm not mistaken, Rachel, is 1987. I think that's what we were saying. That's when and I saw it in the theater. If I didn't see it on theater, I saw it on home video. Shortly or whenever it came out. But I really think I saw it in the theater. And in a lot of ways, this remake, I mean, it had things in common, like it was a female babysitter and kids, and they went to the city. Other
That's about it.
I think that the plot is really different, and it had been so long since I had seen it. I tried to rewatch it again, but it was interesting. I messaged you about this, but on Disney Plus, they've got it on the, in their index, but it's not going to be on the surface until June of 2021. So I'll plan to rewatch it next summer. But so it's not like I was like, oh, they made it so different from the original. That didn't necessarily upset me, although I think that like the main babysitter who's in the original is played by Elizabeth Shue. Mm-hmm. I think she like goes down. She's babysitting, but she takes the kids to go down to like help out a friend, and then all these hijinks happen. Rather than these warring babysitters, that are kind of battling. And I agree that they're very charismatic. The actresses I thought were fine, but again, not the target audience, and it was just like one of those. Oh my goodness, can we just get this over with?
Yeah, it's very silly.
However, I did love though, and I think it's just because I needed it. Everybody got a happy ending. Mm-hmm. Nobody lost in this movie at all, and that made me really happy because the world's rough right now, and isn't it nice that you can see a happy ending once in a while?
Yeah.
But still, I thought the SWAT barely was better for me. But they were both not very good.
Both of these movies were made in Vancouver, or at least in Canada. So they had a bunch of Hallmark people, which was kind of fun.
That's fun.
In Adventures in Babysitting, the parents, those are both Hallmark people that have been in a bunch of stuff, and so that was kind of fun. And the mom, Gabrielle Miller, she is in my favorite Hallmark Christmas movie that I've ever seen, called Trading Christmas, which I think anybody would like it. It's really solid. It's got Tom Cavanaugh, Faith Ford in it, about people switch houses, and it's really fun. So I recommend it. But anyway, all right. So now those are like the bottom three. I knew we'd agree on there. Yeah. And then I kind of have like my middle grouping. Yeah. I kind of have sort of four groupings.
Okay.
That I was back and forth. So that was the bottom grouping. And then I think 5 movies that are in my sort of middle grouping that I went back and forth on. And so it'll be interesting to see if
I think we'll probably, I remember there's going to be some variation in these too. But again, probably for multiple different reasons, as we were saying,
So my next pick, I have the BFG next in my pick.
Okay, as number 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have that later?
I have the BFG at number 11.
Oh, okay, so we can talk about it here.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. So the BFG, it definitely was disappointing. The trailer made me really excited. Old school Steven Spielberg. We're going to get it kind of back. I wasn't, unlike most people, I was not a fan of Bridge of Spies. And so I was kind of ready for a return to form, I guess, and for him to do a magical child, picture for children. He hadn't done one for quite a while.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting.
His first Disney branded film, too.
True. Yeah, and I liked the little girl. I think she was good. I am not sold on Mark Rylance. Like, again, I didn't love Bridge of Spies. I feel like he gives the same performance in every movie, and I don't really get why people love him. I don't understand why he won the Oscar. I thought his performance was fine, but do I think it was better than Sylvester Stallone fighting cancer in Creed? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I couldn't believe it. And so I don't quite understand him as an actor, so maybe that's problematic. But this movie was just dull. It was boring. There was, I hadn't read the book in a while, but I don't remember the book being so boring. And it was just like them just kind of hanging out and then and kind of avoiding these other giants.
Yeah.
And it looked nice, and I liked the John Williams score.
Yeah.
But until we kind of get the shenanigans with the Queen, then some things are happening. But I just found the movie very dull.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too. I thought it was very uninteresting, and it was really just a disappointment because I'm with you. I was excited that Spielberg was directing a fantasy film, and it's a Roald Dahl book, and so much potential. I thought Mark Rylance was fine, but I mostly just felt I didn't like the CGI very much in this film. I mean, it was okay, but I just felt like everything was just kind of off. And much of it I blame the script, but also I almost just like Steven Spielberg showed up and directed it for a couple of days and then kind of passed it off to his team, you know what I mean, or something, because it just didn't feel like it had the magic that I was hoping it was going to have. Big disappointment for sure.
Yeah, it didn't have hardly anything. It was just so
flat. Dull. I think it's such
really
a perfect way to say it.
So yeah, I agree. So what do you have at 12?
My number 12 was DANGAL, or however you say it, the Indian film, which I thought it was actually quite well made. My problem with it, I get a little frustrated with sports movies, or even really any movie that has, I mean, when the lead character has just so many obstacles to overcome, and they're and then also, given that Bollywood films tend to go 2 hours and 40 minutes plus, close to 3 hours plus, it was just like an extra 70, 80 minutes of overcoming obstacles that I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm ready. I mean, I knew what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah.
But getting there was hard. But still, I thought it was a well-made film. I thought it was well acted and well directed for what it was. I think part of it is just a victim of the constraints of the film has to be 2 hours and 2 hours and 2.5 hours plus.
Yeah.
For me, it was way too long.
I have it at 11, and that is a Bollywood thing. Bollywood films are long.
They're long.
I've never.
That's how it rolls.
I've never seen one that wasn't over 2 hours for sure, and usually
absolutely.
much longer.
Yeah, usually they're much longer. Yeah.
Yeah. So a part of that is it's just that's their culture, and that's what they.
It's just the nature of the of how they make films.
I have it at 11, and overall I enjoyed it. I'd probably give it. It's kind of weird because, and people will probably call me on this, because I didn't go fresh on Rogue One, but I do have it higher than this that I would probably go fresh on. But again, I'm looking at it, you have to judge a movie for what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
And I think that for what this is trying to be, a sports movie for Bollywood fans, then it succeeds at being what it's trying to be. Do I enjoy it? Not that much. I don't know. So it's a mixture. That's the tricky thing about criticism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also felt like, given that we are supposed to be rooting for her father so much, for these girls' father, he was a bit of a bully to me, and it was a little bit hard for me. And again, that might be some cultural differences going on there, but
that was hard.
It was a little bit hard for me to root for him when he was so mean.
Yeah, I agree.
And especially when he cut off their hair, I was pretty mad at him about that.
Yeah.
And so that was also challenging, but it's definitely very triumphant at the end. And if I think they could make a remake of this movie, and it'd be pretty good. It would be pretty.
It's a very compelling story.
It is.
And I thought that they did. For what it was good in so many ways. But Yeah, that last 40 minutes for me,
Very long.
I just, had like, okay, you can do it. You can do it.
Sorry, what I put you through.
No, you're so fine. It is not at all. And I don't mean to, give that impression. It's just that it's like, okay, one more hour, maybe two more montages, musical montages. And then,
yeah,
a few more matches of this stuff is just where I just thought, wow, we could trim this and it would sure be a lot more compelling for me.
Yeah. Well, if people are interested, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're interested in more Bollywood films, one of my fellow YouTubers, Jimmy Cage, is his channel. Him and his friend review Bollywood films, and they are so entertaining, their reviews. And of course, I love Bali and Bali 2. They are very long, but they are so crazy and so much fun. So that's where I first discovered them, and they actually also review DANGAL on their their channel over there. So so definitely if you are interested in, I'll put a link down to their review if people are interested in learning more about those films, because it's a really fun scene of filmmaking and definitely worth checking out.
Well, Bollywood is fascinating, and I'm just so happy to learn more. And I think, good for Disney for trying to make some films specifically for the Indian market in that regard. Also, I think we should say too, Rachel, that, and thanks to you, it's on Netflix. You guided me over there, so where to find it.
And that's what's fun about doing these kind of rankings, is you get out of your comfort zone. And even if they don't, because you never know, like, what if it had been amazing? And here you see.
Absolutely. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love doing that. And
being exposed to something new. Me too. I love it.
Yeah. So there we go. So what do you have at number 10?
So number 10, and this is where, to me, this section was particularly hard.
Yeah, it's tricky.
For 10, I put The Finest Hours. And I thought actually The Finest Hours was quite a good film. And I anytime too where Disney is not, and here I am, I'm ripping on the DComs, which isn't very nice of me, but anytime though Disney wants to put out kind of a mid-budget film that and like kind of the classic Disney film of my childhood, I love it. I support it, and that's one of the things I really love about Disney Plus is that it's giving them a place. I know we've talked about this, but a place for the Walt Disney Studios to put out mid-budget films, because since they won't really do that in theaters, and when we go back to theaters, I think they'll just be still probably back to their ways of the past few years, whereas it has to be a tentpole film or they're not going to put it in the theater. Because they just don't do as well. I mean, they just don't earn as much money. I don't think that The Finest Hours was a big box office hit, but still, I thought it was solid. Chris Pine is very good in it. I thought that the drama was compelling, and the production was very good. But also, I mean, I think part of it, this is just where it comes down to like personal preference. It's not so much it was a heavy drama, but this man versus nature stuff.
Yeah,
sometimes I just get a little tired of.
Yeah,
again, personal preference.
Yeah, no, this is a very well done film. The rescue is very well done, and you've got Chris Pine, Casey Affleck, Ben Foster, great actors, Eric Bana,
great actors,
really good cast. It's a true story, based on true story, and they got good use of that water tank. They got some really good.
They got some serious, Those that crew got seriously soaked in this, filming this, but it was very compelling. Yeah.
And so, I actually also have that at number 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So then at number 9, and this will probably make some people upset, but I have Rogue One at number 9. I know a lot of people, this is their favorite of the recent Star Wars movies.
It is interesting that it is a lot of people's favorite. Yeah. It's not mine.
It's not mine.
I have it a little higher, but we'll get into that. But yeah.
the thing about this movie, I think it does look nice. I think it has nice moments, but especially going into it, I had read the prequel novel, Catalyst, and I had gotten pretty invested in the characters, and that novel does a very good job of telling Jin Erso's story up to that point and her parents. And so I came into it and I was really disappointed in this movie when it kind of was the beginning of the end for Star Wars. The
for
Disney
cinematic
Star Wars
Star
for
Wars.
me,
Yeah.
because I was very let down by it. I just didn't care about any of the characters, and I thought that the story was so flat. I mean, yes, we have this situation with how they get the plans for the Death Star, okay. But aside from K2SO, I did not care about any of these characters, and I really didn't like the way that that Star Wars decided to make the Force a superpower. And you have the blind character that can walk through taser fire, and all he has to say is, "I am the Force is me," and that's it. That's all, and he's protected. And that's not the way. He wasn't even a Jedi. That's not what the Force is. The
Mm-hmm.
At least what I always thought it was. And
Yeah.
it just became really bland and really boring. And yeah, the Vader scene is cool. I like that. And there's some fun parts, and K2SO is fun. But I couldn't have told you a single character's name except for Jyn Erso and Saw
Jyn
Gerrera,
Erso.
because I
Yeah.
had read the book and knew about. But the villain, I couldn't even tell you. I hated the CGI Tarkin, and I, you're supposed to feel all this emotion at the end, and I didn't. And there's this ridiculous scene where they're getting this file drive out of this tower, and I'm like, who designs anything that way? That was ridiculous. And the switch for the tower is way on the other side of the platform. You're like, what? Why would you design it that way? It makes no sense. And Saw Gerrera, I thought, was a very poorly written character. Sometimes he seems heroic, and then other times he's torturing people. And what does he like Jin at all? I don't understand his character. So I don't know. I didn't care for it, and I haven't had my mind changed. People are like, "Oh, watch it again and again," and I'm like, every time I haven't changed my mind.
No, not gonna work.
So anyway, that's where I have it. What do you have at 9?
So at number 9, I have Pete's Dragon, which was, I don't mean this as a slam to it, because I thought it was a very well made film, and I appreciated that if at least Disney's going to continue on with these remakes that I despise, I'm so glad they did something original with the story, or different with the story. So it's still is about a forlorn kid with who's got a dragon protecting him. I loved the setting. I thought the acting was good, and the dragon looked great. I just liked a lot more movies more. It was just, I think that was just hard, just because these other movies just have a more repeatability, and I just enjoyed them more.
Sure.
And I think,
a lot higher. So we'll talk. But yeah, I mean, what David Lowery was able to do, it still blows my mind, because all these other talented directors have come in, and they haven't been able to have the kind of voice and control that he had with that movie. I just think it's so impressive. And I want to say, how did you do it? How did you do it? Because it is it's his voice. It's such an independent, authentic movie. And I just find it so impressive, and maybe it's just because people aren't very attached to the original. I think
Right.
it's the only one of these that I would say is outright better than the original,
Yeah.
personally. I don't know. You just don't have a lot of the awkward moments of the original. Like they're gonna make
Well, the
Pete into a
original one was.
tonic
I
in the
don't think
original.
that the original one is good at all. You know, I think it's
Yeah.
just downright terrible. But with an occasional fun musical number, but and I like I like Elliot. I think Elliot's fun. You know, the dragon's fun.
Yeah,
But
they're gonna turn him into a tonic though,
yeah,
and they
it's like
sing a whole song
whatever.
about it. And then the whole weird song where they have a bill of sale for Pete. What? He's a
Yeah,
human being.
yeah. It's
That's
just
so bizarre.
it's messed up. But
So I
I
like this
liked how they
way
just
better.
completely went an absolutely different direction
Yeah.
with
The
it.
only
And
thing I wish is if I think it would have been cool if they'd had Candle in the Water.
yeah, that would have been a nice touch because that's a beautiful song.
I do love that song.
Yeah, I like
But
Brazzle Dazzle Day too. That's which I think is fun. But uh,
is that in a
Brazzle Dazzle Day isn't Pete Strat. You know, the
oh, is
original Pete
that the
Stragan.
Tonic song, right?
No, it's Helen Reddy and Mickey Rooney are singing as they're painting the
Oh
lighthouse
yeah.
with Elliot and I mean not with Elliot, with the little boy. It's a really fun song. I'll have to send you the link. And
Cool.
Tabernacle Choir sings it. If
Oh
you
really?
can believe it. Yeah, it's in the repertory.
That's
It's really
funny.
fun. Yeah, in fact, it was just on the broadcast on Sunday morning.
No
I mean,
way.
you know, it was a repeat, but yeah.
So what do you
I've had a
have?
bunch of my choir
Oh
friends
yeah.
send me messages like it's Razzle Dazzle Day. Anyway,
That's
sorry,
funny.
I
No, you're
interrupted
fine.
you.
So what do you have at number 8?
So believe it or not, I have the Jungle Book, which again these are the 2 remakes, you know, in our list. Uh, and I can't even believe I'm saying it, but I thought that the Jungle Book was really entertaining. There's a couple of things I don't like about it. I don't like the Christopher Walken you know, the
Yeah.
whole King Louis thing. I can't stand the proportions that they made him. I think it all just looks so out of place. And Christopher Walken kind of singing whatever that is, you know, just like
Yeah.
he needs just to do more cowbell rather than any of this stuff, you know. But I thought that the Jungle Book was actually really compelling and a really cool use of CGI. I thought that CGI for me really worked. I thought that the live action Mowgli was he was a good little actor and was able to handle himself really well with a bunch of CGI. You know, that with total CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I can't even believe I'm saying it. I liked it. I like this movie.
Yeah.
I just found it just a little, for me, it was just a little more entertaining than Pete's Dragon. It was a hard choice.
So I also have Jungle Book at number 8. And it was it is a very good film. I like the fact that they make Mowgli a more dynamic character, and I really like the ending with Mowgli, with him showing leadership and with the fire and everything. I think that's really good. I certainly like it way better than the ending of the animated film, which I'm not a big fan of,
Right.
with the water girl.
Yeah. The
And
third act is really good in
yeah,
this film. Yeah.
and the animation was new. It was something original, so I appreciated that. And I there's things like completely agree with you about uh, Louis. I completely agree on that. I think in general the songs just didn't quite work. I appreciate the effort, but I don't know, it just didn't quite work. But
Yeah.
still, overall, it's a pleasant movie. I enjoy it. I think it's pretty scary for like little kids.
Oh yeah, I think so
Compared to
too.
the original.
I think it's a lot scarier than the original animated one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish they used Caw more. It's not in it that
Yes.
much. But yeah, there I have it at 8 as well. So what do you have at 7?
So 7, I have the Queen of Kotway. or his Queen of Katwe. Again, this is a tough one because I was so happy that just kind of a mid-budget movie that they released it theatrically, and I don't think it was a huge hit, which is disappointing.
No, it was a big flop, but they didn't market it hardly at all.
But say the marketing was bad, and I don't know I can't remember what weekend it opened, but it's like, why did you open up this weekend too? You know what I mean? It was like a combination of, it's like they set themselves up to fail, and it deserved better. I just think it's just a solid story, and well acted. Just a really good family drama. I mean, a family friendly drama, I guess I should say. Yeah.
Yes, I really enjoyed this film. I have it at number 6 in my ranking. I think that particularly when the house floods, that is such a devastating moment, that after all that family has been through,
I know,
then to have their little, I mean, it's not much of a house to even have, but it's what they have, and it's flooded, and it's just so and it's not a very tidy film. Things are not made perfect. There's challenges, and
it felt very real to me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when her mom has to, she's almost considers becoming a mistress, basically, in order to support her daughter so that she can achieve her dreams. It goes to some dark places that Disney typically doesn't go. I mean, her sister basically becoming a mistress, and you deal with that, and her playing chess, and the acting is so good. Lupita Nyong'o, I think, could have gotten nominated for it.
I know, she's so good. Wow.
David Aiello is really great,
is outstanding.
So I have at 7, I have Finding Dory.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very pleasant. I liked finding out about Dory's past, and I really enjoyed her sort of story about somebody with a disability, and her finding her way home. I thought it was sweet and moving. I liked Hank the Octopus. I love the animation, is beautiful. But I wouldn't say it's the most memorable film that I've ever seen. And I just, it's a little bit, I would say it's just a little bit forgettable when you think of the Pixar canon, but I really liked it. I think it's very sweet. And I really liked the 2 whales. I think they're fun. How are you? Thank you. So that's where I have it. I would definitely watch it again. I really enjoyed it, but that's where I feel like it belongs. It's 7.
I have just a tick higher, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you have at 6?
I have Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, right? But this film had some good moments. I know that the production was troubled, as is everything with these Disney Star Wars movies. What a mess! But there was, I think, it had more potential. But that final scene with Darth Vader is what bumped it up a couple of notches for me, because I think that from everything I read, that it was added late in the game with some of these reshoots and whatnot. But wow, that was fun. Just to really bring it full circle. In talking with some other people about this, after the film had come out, and I mean, spoiler alert, basically, everybody dies. Right, everybody has to lose their life in this, and I don't love that. I mean, I know that it kind of, I mean, that's just, I know many people, whatever the quote is, that was really the genesis of the film, lost their lives to bring us this information, meaning the Death Star stuff. But it just, I wish it had been better. I don't hate it, but I think it's one of those things. I just felt in a lot of ways it was a missed opportunity, as in, most of the Disney live action Star Wars films, because it had a really cool cast. I thought they assembled a really interesting cast, and they just did do a really good job. I didn't think of character development, and other than Jyn Erso, I think Jyn Erso is a really good character. Cassian, I like too, but again, there's still not enough about him. I think he's getting a Disney Plus series, which I'm not against.
Yeah,
because his droid is in it too, right? The what's his bucket? You just said his name.
K2SO.
Thank you, K2SO. is who's awesome, who's terrific, you know. So I think there's going to be a lot of potential with that. But anyway, yeah, I don't just love Rogue One.
I mean,
like it quite a bit.
It is frankly amazing. It's watchable because of all when you hear about everything that happened. Tony Gilroy and people like that coming in to
come in and
save it.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of incredible in that regard, but I don't know, it just feels like filler, the movie, and it's nothing I care about. They didn't make me care about the characters, and especially Saw Gerrera, I just thought was very poorly done.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. So it's a bummer. So we're on 5?
Yeah, we're on number 5.
Number 5 for me is Doctor Strange. I like this movie, I feel like, more than a lot of people. I feel like, yes, it is a similar story to Iron Man, but I feel like it's executed well, and I don't mind a trope-filled story if it's done well, a formula story if it's done well. And I feel like he actually gets to kind of lower places than Tony does in that first Iron Man movie. I mean, he is in the cave and everything, but he's pretty. I mean, he's begging at the doors. He's down to his last. Hope. And so I feel like that makes it a little bit different. You had the Ancient One, and a lot of people were critical of the casting of Tilda Swinton, but I just love her so much.
Yeah.
I love Benedict in this role. I think he's great as Doctor Strange. I think the movie can be pretty funny when it wants to be. Even things like his coat are funny.
Yes.
And the villain could be better, but I really liked the ending with the what's his name? I can't think of his name. That he keeps having to go up against over and over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
I can't either, but yeah.
But I really like the ending.
I like that too. Yes, the repeat.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And so we'll see whatever's going to happen with Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, because that seems like a waste of that actor. If we're not going to get more, I mean, I guess we're going to get it in Doctor Strange too. But he finally changed it. He by the end of the movie, he's become kind of a bad guy, and but we don't really get to see him that much in the movie. So I guess we'll see him in this next one.
Yeah.
But which I'm really excited about. I mean, it was
me too.
Raimi.
Sam Raimi directing it, and it's got all the good juju's going for it. I'm excited for it too.
And I've really enjoyed Doctor Strange in the Avengers movies. I think he's been very good.
He's been a terrific character.
I just wish that we could have gotten a movie with Tony Stark and Stephen Strange. I think that could have been so fun because I love those two together.
Really cool. Yeah.
What do you have at 5?
I have Finding Dory at 5, and Doctor Strange at 4. So close. I'm with you on Finding Dory. I think for me, it was just. I mean, we got to meet some new characters, but it was just fun to revisit this animated world.
Yeah.
For me, I appreciated a lot the sensitivity that they showed with Dory's character and with her parents, and I just felt that I just think often Pixar is at its best when it can successfully do something like that, that just for me feels very authentic, and rather than forced or manipulative or something. I liked how that. And then just silly fun. I just found it supremely entertaining. So nothing earth shattering. It's not going to go on any of my best movies made by Pixar Animation Studios by any means, but still, I thought it was a fun romp with back into a world which I enjoy watching.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed it too. So I have it number 4. I have Pete's Dragon at number 4. I just think what he accomplished is really amazing.
Yeah.
I just don't know how he did it, and how he kept his voice so strong throughout the whole film. I just love the performances. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard is terrific.
Really good. I love
Robert
Redford in it.
I mean, come on, you know.
And I think it's just you have these classic stories of childhood that are told of, you know, movies like The Black Stallion and Old Yeller, and these, you know, boy and his dog. Here you have the boy and his dragon, and I think that this is right up there. I mean, I just love it. I think it's so good. I think Oaks Fegley as this little as Pete is excellent.
So good. Yeah.
I think, you know, you've got Wes Bentley, Carl Urban, just this really great
really
cast.
Solid cast.
And it has so much heart, so much message. I love when they're flying. Beautiful. I think he did this whole movie on a $60 million budget. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, the whole thing just seems like it's a miracle. How did he do it?
How did he do it? I really want to.
I don't know how he did it.
I wish he'd have a panel at D23 and I could look, because how did he make it look so good on such a small budget? And I mean, I think it should have been nominated for visual effects.
Yeah.
And you've got Lindsey Sterling doing the music, beautiful music. It's just such a beautiful, hope-filled, lovely movie, and I wish that I wish it had been a huge hit, because that's the kind of remake that I want them to make. I want them to remake flawed films and make them better, and
make them better rather than Beauty and the Beast. You know, come on.
There's not enough room in Beauty and the Beast to do something new. It's too beloved. It's just a waste. I mean, they made a ton of money, so who am I to say? And this they didn't make a lot of money on, but I just loved it. It is kind of traumatic at the beginning, but again, I think that all sort of goes into the history of these kind of films for children.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your Black Stallion and your Old Yeller.
Yeah.
So I love it. Agree. I have it at 4. All right. Well,
my number 4 is Doctor Strange.
Okay, yeah.
So I just thought Doctor Strange was just terrific. So entertaining. Benedict Cumberbatch is terrific. I thought it had such a good script. I like the character of Stephen Strange. You know, and I thought that this was a cool way to do this origin story for him. And Rachel McAdams is terrific. You know, I mean, everybody's good in this movie, and I know that I'm with you. The Tilda Swinton, I understand the controversy, but I thought she was great in it. I thought, you know, I love Doctor Strange. Terrific movie.
Yeah, and also visually stunning too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, kind of the opposite of CGI throw up. You know, it's just it's great. You know, everything really worked for me. Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if we have the same top 3.
That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, we have the same 3 movies.
Yeah, we clearly have the same 3 movies in the top 3. So we'll see what order we've got them. It was
very difficult for me.
Hard.
Yes, but I have Captain America: Civil War at 3.
So do I.
Okay, so I think we probably do have the same then. So I have, and this is just really great, and I think it's only feels greater now that we've seen the whole phase play out. And what I like about this movie is that you have this buildup of this. It just makes so much sense with Tony becoming more and more isolated and more unsure about his ability to make these choices when he starts out so cocky. And then you have Steve, who is so willing to do anything for the government. And now he's gotten to the point, because of SHIELD and because of what has happened, now he won't sign the accord. And so you've seen this growth of these characters throughout all these films come to this point where they have this conflict. And I think it's so good. And I love, the airport scene is so much fun, but it also has that philosophical underpinning, which I think makes it so good.
I agree with you so much. I love this film. I think all the Captain America films are really good. And this was just, it just made perfect. It was just, I think one of the strengths of these Marvel Studios films is the continuity that they actually have. They really just seem to have a plan. Unlike the Star Wars movies. But or if they do have a plan, they just execute it so much better, than what they've been able to do across the way. But the just everything about this, and then with you, the airport scene is just a blast. That's probably I love Spider-Man in it. We talked a little bit about that, but just the real drama, the conflict between that's causing this quote unquote civil war between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark is really interesting.
Yeah,
really thought provoking, and just really well made. Terrific.
The only part I don't like in this movie is Sharon Carter. I don't like her. No, get her out of there. But everything else I like.
Everything else you like, okay.
I like Black Panther. He's great in this.
Yeah.
Great
Black
introduction.
Panther's great. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a great pick. All right. Well, what do you have as your number 2?
Well, so this one was really hard.
I know.
I have Moana at number 2.
Ooh.
So I just wondering if this is where we differ.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I have Zootopia too. But I really love them both. They're pretty close to my Disney rankings.
I love them both too. The Zootopia just won out for me just because of the social relevance.
Mm-hmm.
But Moana, directed by Ron and John. The songs collaborated with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and just the animation is so stunning. I love both. I almost wanted to do a tie.
Yeah.
And I also, I can't. Can you even believe that Walt Disney Animation Studios delivered both of these films in the same year?
Nah, it seems like another world.
Yeah.
Compared to now.
Yeah, they're both so good. But I just think for me the Zootopia, I just found it to be particularly poignant. I just can't believe that they were able to deliver such an important. It was the social commentary on it was done so expertly. I can't believe that they pulled it off.
Yeah. And it's so funny. It's so sweet. We just recently recorded our Talking Disney on it, and I think it holds up. If not, it's even better now than it once was. And you have sort of a commentary on the police. You have a commentary on media. You have a commentary on. It's not just this prejudice dynamic, but a lot of other things.
Of stuff going on with it.
Yep.
And yes, but still so funny, so witty. And I think a film that's I think really going to hold up well, even though it's very topical. I think that they really created a great film. And then you got Moana. Talk about a ball fest. Every time. My favorite scene in Moana, Rachel, is when it's hard to pick, but when Moana's about ready to give up, close near, kind of near the end of Act 2, or right there at the plot point, and her grandma shows up again.
Oh yeah.
That is so stunning and so heartfelt and so inspiring. I mean, I could just watch that over and over. In fact, I probably will watch it again after we finish, just to be reminded, just how gorgeous and meaningful that movie is.
Yeah, I agree. I love Moana as a character. I love Alele Cavallo's performance. Her singing is so beautiful, and I mean, for me, almost always songs beats out no songs. I love musicals so much, and also I do like the ending of Moana a little bit better than the ending of Zootopia, because here you have her melting the heart of Tafiti, and also getting Maui back his hook, and that's more interesting to me than villain reveal. Which I'm just tired of and kind of bored of. So Bellwether and everything I don't love that in Zootopia. I mean, it's fine, but it's not my favorite. No, so if I had to pick, I would pick Moana, but they're both really great and they're both really different. So the fact we got both of them in here is really incredible.
Yeah.
And of course, Zootopia won the Oscar. So, and I think how many conversations Zootopia started in families, and I think that's really,
exactly,
really
which I think is really good. But then and I mean, they're both just brilliant films, and again, kudos to Disney for making both of them, in the same year. Let alone, I mean, wow, just the whole thing amazes me.
Yeah. So if you're listening, let us know what your ranking would be. What are your favorites from 2016 from Disney? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And Stanford, where can people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at Stanford Clark, and I have a movie podcast and blog at moviespastandpresent.com.
That's right. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Plus, we have lots of stuff going on at the Hallmarkies podcast right now. So make sure to check that out. We've got lots of interviews and really great content. And so check that out. And we'll look forward to maybe in the new year doing 2015. It's been fun to do this. So why not?
Fun.
So take a listen to that, and please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate that. We also have our Patreon group, which has a lot of fun perks, including behind the scenes movie watch-alongs, which are a lot of fun with creators and other talent. And it's only $2 a month to join. So please check that out. And then we also have our merch store, which has #AnimationJunkie shirts. So please check that out. And thanks so much. And we'll talk again soon. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.